Welcome to Channel KRT, where we talk to cartoons.
Good for you.
I'm Kate Quinn, and I could be watching The Ghost and Molly McGee instead.
I'm Tyler Green, and fuck. Just fuck, man.
I'm Randy Martin, and is April over yet?
Don't tempt the gods, Randy. They'll find some way to trap us in Unholy Month 2 in May.
Oh, no.
But we do have some great returning guests with us today. Please welcome back to the show, Gigakoops and Nightmare Lyra.
Woo!
Oh, yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Yay! And you get to suffer with us yet again.
Welcome to the Second Timers Club. How did this compare to Horrid Henry?
It wasn't as long.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
And it wasn't as British either.
Although it's definitely more xenophobic.
It was more American.
This felt just everything phobic.
Man.
So, hello, it's me, Nightmare Lyra, back from the great country of Europe, where we all have a monoculture, as we all know.
Huzzah! And
Hooray.
also, for some reason, this special says Europeans don't know what pencil sharpeners and intercom, doorbells, or the grocery store are.
Yeah, we don't have electricity. I'm recording this with black magic.
Huzzah! It's a telegram!
Yay! So, for the listener, we have special technology where we can transfer Morse code into actual audio, so that's how they're talking to us right now.
Yes, you see, we live in Norway, and, it's just huts in the forest, and every time we need to, have lights inside, we need to, sacrifice a goat so, Satan comes and gives us some fire.
And you always wear Viking helmets.
Yeah, it's important.
So the special, air quotes, today that we're talking about is a little thing called McGee and Me.
More specifically, the new adventures of McGee and Me. None of that regular-ass McGee and Me bullshit.
No, that's what's when the animation was good.
Maybe it's a commentary on the Old Testament and the New Testament, and this is before Jesus was born. McGee was the god. I don't know.
So, really the main difference between the new adventures of McGee and Me and regular McGee and Me is that they're all older now by 2 years. I don't know.
It's all computer animated now.
Apparently the kid's supposed to be in junior high school, but he looks like he's a senior.
He looks like he's in his mid-20s.
He looks like if somebody really doubled down on the Ken makeup for Ryan Gosling in the new Barbie movie.
He looks like the Wish version of Zach Morris. And he's somehow just as shitty as Zach Morris.
Oh, God.
He just reminds me of the lead actor in Dear Evan Hansen.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ooh,
God,
yeah.
yes.
You know what he looks like?
Oh.
He looks like the ghost of, a tortured Victorian child. He's just always got this, weird, sad look in his eyes, no matter what. And it freaks me out.
Actually, weird fact I found out. Apparently, the actor who played him, Joe DeMann, has said that none of the cast members were actually Christian. They just acted Christian on the set whenever the focus on the family members were present.
Nice.
And also, he apparently is an atheist.
Hi, I'm not a Christian, but I play one on TV.
And also, what the hell? He was also in a brief short about the U.S. Constitution that was produced by Carmen. We can't escape!
Oh, no.
Ah!
And we also found out that there's an episode of McGee and Me where Dick Van Patten shows up, so... Sooner or later, we're gonna find out Willie Ames was secretly the dad the whole time.
I haven't seen the other ones. I've only seen the one that we're talking about, and I think that was more than enough because, my god, I felt like the longer I'm looking at this Victorian ghost, the more I feel like I'm inviting something scary into my house.
It's McGee.
Yes.
Funny enough, the dad in this is Terry Bozeman, who's actually been in quite a few mainstream movies. He was the principal in The Amazing Spider-Man 2012.
Holy shit!
He was in Charlie Wilson's War. He was in Rules of Engagement. I think he also directed some episodes of a show, unless I'm thinking of someone else. And Eve Brenner, who was in The Great Mouse Detective just a few years before this series began. So, what? Where are they getting all these people?
Tax.
Yeah, probably blackmail.
So what is everyone's relationship with McGee and Me?
None.
Basically, yeah. I don't have much of a relationship with it. I knew of it through mitosis, but even when I was going through my reviewers, certain website I will not name phase, I never knew shit about this show. No one ever really picked on it.
We were actually initially going to review the Not So Great Escape episode, the one where Nick wants to go see a horror movie in theaters, but then he learns, it's bad to lie to your parents, and so it's good that they punish you with more chores.
Yay, extreme labor. That'll teach him to watch a schlocky B-movie that people probably won't remember in 30 years. What?
And the episode we picked is somehow even worse, so it's the opposite of our Full House experience.
One thing I need to say real quick about that episode is that it ends with this talk between Nick and his parents where they're all disappointed, and they go on this fucking rant about how
just by going to see it, you've put something into your mind to dirty it.
You've got scenes in your mind that you can never erase. You've got pictures that may be with you for the rest of your life.
I have a feeling these motherfuckers were complicit in fucking doxing Friday the 13th stars back in the 80s.
I mean, they do reference Roger Ebert, so yes.
Yeah.
How do you dox someone in the 80s?
Through Roger Ebert.
I mean, I know we just watched Susie and Stranger Things actually dox a government lab in 1986.
Hell yeah.
So, but the average consumer in the 80s didn't really have that kind of technology or even know how to use it. I'm actually impressed. I can't even be mad.
Huzzah. And speaking of bigotry, this tape was produced by Focus on the Family, which has a very interesting Wikipedia article.
We're not going to go too much into it, but they've done some very shady shit.
If they had to act more Christian whenever they were around on set, that says a lot, doesn't it?
This is one of those companies where it's they'll have a commercial with a gay or an interracial couple, and then it'll be this organization is putting out a statement against it, and you're like, oh, not these fuckers again.
By the way, these pieces of shit are still going in 2023. I'm on their website right now.
No.
Dear God.
Oh, Tyler.
Oh, God, they were responsible for Adventures in Odyssey?
What?
Yeah, that explains a lot.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, they have a fucking pro-life section on their website.
Oh,
No surprises there.
of course they do.
Which I find funny then, because they complained in that one episode about horror movies rotting your brain, and yet I assume they would have agreed with the message of Elm Street 5.
How is Focus on the Family gonna call themselves pro-life when I just watched them do an abortion?
Oh, snap.
Because that's what that was.
Yeah.
I will say that comparing these two tapes, they were both bad, but I gotta say that the production value on the initial McGee and Me episode we were gonna review looked slightly better. They had a pretty cool intro that was set up like the intro to Back to the Future, where it has that big machine that sets up McGee, and this one has a theme song that just shows him being drawn and then coming out, and that's it.
Yeah.
So, what are the logistics of McGee's existence?
I think...
Babylonian demon.
Remember when Uncle Joey was talking to a cartoon version of himself in that Full House episode?
Down here, big guy.
Wow, I finally cracked! Awesome!
This was his childhood.
He looked like a mix of Joey's caricature in that episode and a rejected Animaniacs design.
He looks like a fucking 90s Oriental Trading generic child character that they have on all their shit.
So, only Nicholas can see McGee, but he can also interact with physical objects because he kicks the eraser in the opening scene and he falls onto a pencil and makes it catapult like a dummy or something. I don't.
So, this sounds a whole lot like a tulpa. I think that goes against God, if I'm correct.
I don't think tulpas have that kind of power. Also, I was just going to mention in the other episode that you were all going to review, there's a point in which McGee scares the dog.
Oh.
Yeah, the dog named whatever.
Yeah.
Literally named it whatever.
My first time ever knowing about this is that Tyler linked me to the episode about horror movies, and I do love shit like this, and so I had two things to say about this. One is that in the intro to that, there is an animated segment where he goes to Babylon, and so that is my actual idea, is that he is a Babylonian demon. who is haunting them.
God, yes.
Like, that's the only explanation I can possibly come to. And the second thing is that I had the exact opposite reaction to this one than the first episode. The first episode was hilarious with a terrible ending. This one is awful with an actually decent ending.
Yeah.
I feel like McGee is representative of Satan as the adversary, not so much Satan as the devil.
Yeah.
And we are going to find out eventually that it was him who tried to tempt Jesus.
So this episode is titled Beauty and the Least, and it has so little to do with Beauty and the Beast, so I don't understand why they named it that.
This special is old. It stole my fucking soul. Beauty and the... I don't care.
I have a very boring answer for that. Unfortunately, it's very boring. The whole idea is like, oh, you see, people who have the least are also beautiful.
Uh-huh.
Wait, hang on. Are they making a Beauty and the Beast pun because, like, they're calling someone ugly? Or something?
They're calling someone poor.
That's not very Christian.
No.
Nothing about this fucking episode is Christian, as we'll later get into.
And without going into too much detail yet, they make fun of homeless people in it, so it's like... I'll say this much, it's slightly better than Beauty and the Beast 2017, but that's not saying much.
Oh, God. Well, Kit, you were sick when you recorded that video, so would you say that was a better experience than watching this?
Well, it was when I got to do a video with Tony for the first time, so that was fun.
Yeah.
It sowed the seeds for Channel KRT in a way.
Oh my god, it did!
Yeah, it kind of did, yeah.
It really did.
Side note, are we like one of the many Happy Days spin-offs to escape from Walt Disney's Happy Days?
Yes.
There we go.
I think we're all kind of a shared part of the TGIF universe.
We're the Mork and Minnie.
Tommy Westfall is writing our dialogue as we speak.
Huzzah.
Alright, but I also get to be Sabrina.
Yes.
All right.
Also,
So-
we forgot to mention in the credits sequence, when McGee flies into the computer, it cuts to this very early 90s credit sequence with fucking PowerPoint font credits.
Yes. I actually really like
Radical.
I like that logo. That was actually pretty cool.
Also, I'm just going to mention it, that music low-key slapped a little bit.
It did.
I was so expecting to hear Out of Nowhere, but I'm not done yet. Call right now and we'll triple the offer for only 3 easy payments of $19.95. Here's how to order.
Plot twist, the computer turns out to be Eunice.
Oh, no.
Hello, I am here to torture Nick and McGee for no reason.
There was the whole thing with the kind of the drop-in animation interesting because it seemed to be the same studio animated both, and apparently it's like a known like co-animated studio that has like co-animated like what's like
Animaniacs.
Huh.
Holy shit.
I mean, maybe it's kind of like a Hanna-Barbera deal where when they first created Tom and Jerry, it was like incredibly fluid animation, but then their budget got so tanked during the TV era that they ended up mastering the art of limited animation.
Yeah, I could see that.
I gotta say, this animation is not bad. It kind of sucks that it's not bad.
It's not bad, it's just cheap.
Yeah.
The animation is actually pretty solid. The designs are a little uninspired.
McGee looks like Trump. I'm just gonna say it.
Oh god. Alright, so this special opens up with McGee nearly getting himself killed.
Good.
And then McGee died and Nick finally went to therapy to sort out his religious trauma that caused him to see a cartoon.
It's like Jojo Rabbit.
The
At the
end.
end, he just punches him.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Fuck off, McGee.
Yes.
So then we get this ominous-ass sequence where suddenly Nick hears a bunch of noises outside, and we get like a point-of-view shot of someone lurking at the window. And it's played straight, like there's actually something wrong, like it's a legit intruder.
But I thought horror movies rot your brain.
Oh, wow, so this thing has continuity, I see.
It's just a Jehovah's Witness.
Oh no, it's an atheist! Run!
Well, I mean, we gotta count our blessings that we could be talking about Caleb and Sophia.
Yeah, so eventually Nick's family comes down and they're like, oh, don't worry, it's just the wind or something. And then someone knocks on the door and then they all start freaking out. Which, in all fairness, is how most Christians act when they meet a non-white person anyway, so...
I want to point out something. When they first try to get in, they try to open the door but I'm pretty sure that's not normal anywhere.
Yeah.
And then they knock.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, no, they hand wave it
that's-
because later on the father is fixing the doorbell.
The doorbell.
So it turns out that it's Nick's pen pal, Illy, and his dad, Michael. And they have this stupid gag where they're holding up their paper to the window so the dad has to read it and he has to borrow the little girl's glasses because joke.
It's funny because transphobia.
So did they just walk all the way from the airport? Because, like, they don't have a car.
It's not implied that they took a taxi, so...
Also, I know that they're implying that eventually Illy was going to come visit Nick at some point, but why did they have his address?
Back then they didn't know about internet safety. He would just be like, oh yeah, here's my home address, here's my phone, here's my blood type, please deal with security.
Here's
Well,
numbers."
they mentioned they were pen pals, right? Maybe they just had a return address.
It's either that or they went to Roger Ebert to dox him.
Yeah.
Of course.
Quick interruption. Turns out Randy watched the wrong episode of McGee and Me because she clicked the 12th episode and it played the first episode for some weird reason because technology hates me.
It's not your fault. The Internet Archive kind of had it weirdly listed, so I kind of had to scroll through it myself, so yeah, don't worry about it.
So, oopsie whoopsie.
Yeah, don't worry about it. You can just riff on what we're talking about. So
Yeah, we'll pick
I honestly might even just, like, play some of the visuals while you do that.
Huzzah.
Okay, so can I just please talk a little bit about all this stuff as the European in the room?
yes.
Absolutely.
So I looked up the actors. The child actors seem to mostly be known for having been one of the lost boys in Hook.
What? Holy shit!
Holy shit.
Holy shit!
He at least seemed to have a, let's say, East European name. The other guy, the dad, is some guy named Adam Gregor, who's best known for playing fake William Shatner on The Big Bang Theory.
What?
He was giving me Big John Candy from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles vibe. Like, he even had kind of a similar plot to him.
Yeah, I liked him. He was a nice dude.
Yeah. Also, I'm just gonna say it. The mom low-key really wanted to fuck him. You can't convince me.
Oh, man.
She's getting all handsy with him throughout the special, and she's just so disinterested in her own husband, so...
I mean, can you blame her with that Crispin Glover and Back to the Future looking motherfucker?
What, Lorraine? What?
It's actually very accurate to, the type of Christians that focus on the family is supported by people who constantly have affairs and speak out about how immoral being gay is while abusing their kids.
Of course.
And then, of course, going on even more affairs.
So, how did Nick not know that he was pen pals with an 8-year-old boy for the longest time?
Yeah, that had me so confused.
Yeah.
Was Illy just lying?
Is someone catfishing his Nick?
So, somehow, age has never come up in their 4 years of being pen pals. And yeah, they say 4 years.
So, yeah, he must have been really young when they started then. I wonder if his dad wrote for him the letters, maybe?
Well, either way, it's just uncomfortable to me.
Yeah, it feels
Yeah.
weird.
Side note, does the idea of a pen pal just kind of creep anybody else out? Maybe it's just because I've grown up on the internet and I'm able to connect with anybody just about anywhere, but I feel like being able to have more information presented about somebody online is a lot less risky than just receiving random mail from them.
I have, best friends who I could not live without in Europe.
Agreed.
Yes.
Thank God for the internet.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like one of those concepts that, us who grew up with the internet, well, I didn't, but the rest of you who grew up with the internet probably would not be able to relate to a pen pal.
Yeah, and it just seems so risky, too. It's like, you're just sending letters back and forth to someone you don't have any other information on.
Yeah, they're different countries.
True,
yeah.
true.
Yeah.
And-
By the way, speaking of being a millennial, with, the Iraq War constantly shoved down our throats every day as if we were the ones who started it.
Mm-hmm.
Did you also have a soldier pen pal?
No, thankfully.
I don't think so. I think that was an option. I did not opt
I
for
think
it.
I did, but nothing ever came from it.
I don't know, they just kind of were like, here, you guys are gonna, write letters back and forth to soldiers in Iraq, and I was just kind of like, okay.
I did do that. That was a thing I did in elementary school, but I never got a response.
Yeah, me neither.
I
don't-
That's what we did.
I don't
in,
remember
fourth
if
grade.
I got a response or not, but it was just like, hey,
That's,
you're gonna be friends with a grown man in the middle of an active war zone, and I was just like, okay. Okay.
And so then Michael and Illy revealed that they've been sent there by their volunteer organization. Now they need somewhere to stay. And it's like, does none of this sound like a scam? Like, I'd be hella leery.
Yeah, like that's the weird thing. They never like talk about it like this could potentially be a scam. They're just immediately just being like, "Oh, they're so annoying because they're foreign."
They're Romanian. Please laugh.
What I'm getting is, like, this is the Yuka episode of Drake and Josh, but, like, if she just broke in.
Yep. Also, he mentioned something about how his wife is taking care of his sister, so I was like, great. Yeah.
Well, I guess you could say he's king of the castle.
Kill me.
McGee makes a dumbass joke about how...
Oh, don't tell me you buy that whole collapse of the Soviet Union thing. Pure propaganda.
So he's a conspiracy theorist on top of everything else?
What the hell is that coming from? And, like, if he is just an imaginary friend, then where the hell did he get that idea from?
Yes.
I know what happened to Nick. Nick grew up to be Vladimir Putin, didn't he?
Oh, no.
Oh no!
And McGee doing all this talk about the Soviet Union made him want Ukraine back.
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
Oh,
Also,
man. Also, this special is one to talk about propaganda.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking seriously.
Surprisingly, there's barely anything to do with actual Christianity outside of one scene where Illy reads the Bible to Nick, but it still has that energy.
Oh, and you guys saw the lie one, right?
No, I didn't.
Speaking of, like, you know, the mentions to Jesus. So there's one part in it, he's like, you know, all sad, and then his dad has a conversation with Lion. He's like,
Lying is a sin. Well, that sin starts to cut off his relationship, his friendship with God. But there's also a third person that gets hurt. It only stands to reason if we lie and hurt another person, we actually hurt Jesus.
you're hurting
Okay.
You're hurting Jesus when you lie. And then in his sketchbook, he draws a sad Jesus.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
At least this one's not that saccharine.
So, is this what Mick the Clown is like when he's out of makeup?
Yes, he is.
Yes.
And also, there's a dumb scene where Illy is like, where's the beefa? And then somehow Nick doesn't say bathroom to him. He's just like, oh, down the hall. It's like, what if he walks into the living room or something?
What if he walks into the parents' bedroom and sees something he shouldn't be seeing?
Oh, God.
Down the hall and to the left.
Tell me something good.
I looked it up, and it seems like the things they're saying are Romanian, I think, for the most part.
Okay.
Like, it seems to say the correct word for bathroom, but I have no idea how accurate the actual pronunciation is.
Yeah, it's probably something that they were kind of like, yeah, we'll do as much research as we can reasonably can do for some reason.
I want to touch upon this, though, because they mentioned that the Romanian kid made a model of a ship that has a Romanian quote-unquote name called Carpathia. That is an English word.
Yeah.
Is it supposed to be like the Carpathia?
Yeah, it's
or
like
just
the RMS Carpathia, the ship that rescued people from the Titanic.
Oh my god. So it's like, so did Nick tell him about all of that?
I don't know, but they were just like, oh yeah, he made a model ship of like the ship with a Romanian name, Carpathia.
Sure, why not? There's also this running gag where the sister is apparently suffering from measles, and it's like, yes, invite 2 people into your house while one of them has a severely deadly disease. I know that they have a scene where Illy's like, oh, I've already had it, but it's like, what about the others?
Spreading treatable illnesses instead of just getting a fucking vaccine. This really knows who it's being shown to.
Oh,
I bet
boy.
Michael and Illy were just bragging to them about how much better their healthcare system is.
Right, so does Nick have 2 sisters then? Because there's one
Yeah, he
scene where
does.
she just... Okay, that explains the confusion I had earlier.
Which, by the way, when she came down in the cucumber mask, I hate that I thought to myself, wow, this show has much more in common with Out of Jimmy's Head than I thought. Oh, man, well, at least she's not a Scientologist.
Huzzah.
I think.
Well,
We hope.
Is this really any better?
Also, in one of the narrations Nick does, he's talking about how Illy is just, like, amused by everything in his house, and...
By morning, I was exhausted from hearing that even my electric pencil sharpener was somehow amazing.
And we see that pencil sharpener in the intro. It's inside of a gumball machine. Of course that shit slaps.
Yeah, like they show it off in the beginning. It's a cool thing.
Again, like that intro had some genuinely cool stuff in it. I wish it was in the show more.
But there's like this true line of where they keep treating these Romanians as completely backwards and being completely just like, oh my god, you have electricity. It's just like fucking my wife. Like literally, it's like it's Borat. Like it's just, what the fuck are we doing here?
He even has the fucking mustache.
Let's have Michael and Illy get in the same room as Rudy Giuliani.
Oh no!
Oh god.
Huzzah. And also there's a dumb joke where the mom is like, okay, so I gotta figure out what to make for them. Romanian pumpkin casserole. There we go. And it's like, how about you ask them what they want?
I looked it up. It is a real dish. However, I found out one website mentioned that it's a dish usually made during times of fasting.
Huh.
Okay.
You know, Thanksgiving, which this episode is set during.
Yeah, we forgot to mention this is a fucking Thanksgiving episode too.
Yeah.
For some reason.
They also have Michael mention that it's their country's Lent Christmas season. It was really confusing.
Wait, but Lent and Christmas are at very separate parts of the year.
Lent is after Christmas.
It's funny because they're weird and foreign and don't speak English good.
Basically.
Alright, well, Christmas Eve and Mardi Gras are now the same holiday. Santa is in a purple and yellow jester's hat.
Hell yeah.
All of the reindeer have theater masks on. Instead of presents, he brings beads down your chimney, but only if you climb on your roof and flash your boobs at his sleigh.
Here's what gets me so far in this special is that the mom and Nick have the nerve to be annoyed that Illy is actually making them presents.
Yeah!
Yeah.
Even if they're unconventional and you're not going to find use for them, like, at least appreciate the thought.
Exactly.
Oh, this 8-year-old made a thing out of wood for us.
Oh, I don't know how to hold it.
Leave it to the white family to be annoyed that the poverty-stricken family is finally learning what it's like to not live in poverty.
Exactly.
Also, like, I think most people would be impressed. Oh shit, you made this? This 8-year-old kid made this fucking wooden, like, craft? That's cool as hell.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, that's incredible.
These are definitely the type of Christians who, when they get to heaven, they're gonna be like, wait, I was supposed to follow all the Jesus teachings? Wait. You were serious about the love thy neighbor?
And I love that Michael the dad kind of sticks it to the mom, because when he's fixing the doorbell, he goes,
maybe next time when guests come, they won't have to go to back door and scare family.
fucking got her ass.
My headcanon about this thing is that the Romanian dad pretends to be, flaky and quirky, but he is actually aware that they seem weird and common, and he's just gonna kill them with kindness.
And also, a big moment I wrote, oh, fuck you, too, is when the mom is telling Nick, you're gonna have to give up those tickets to go to the football game with Louie. You need to be here with Illy. It's like, dude, Louis probably spent hundreds of dollars on those tickets.
Do you know how expensive football tickets are?
They're well off. They probably don't even realize it's any money.
You know what? Let me look it up. I'm gonna look up the average cost of a ticket to a Pats game at Gillette.
Fucking white people. And also Michael says something like, it's how you people love Lucy. And I was like, stop taking all the WandaVision jokes from me.
And then after that joke, he said, wow-wa-wee-wa.
And
And
also, when they're walking to the store, why are they just walking over people's lawns? Do they not have sidewalks?
Okay, before we go, I need to mention the ending of the previous
Oh
thing.
god, yes.
The fucking thing where he's like, he wants to see a big American grocery store. I looked it up. There is entire Wikipedia articles and TripAdvisor articles about shopping malls in Romania, and there's some fucking big ass, huge ass Mall of America style malls in Romania.
I just looked it up, by the way, and the average cost to see a football game at Gillette Stadium is $170 per seat. And that's for a football stadium inside a strip mall on steroids.
Oh my god. And going back to what you said about the grocery stores, it's like, not only are there grocery stores in Europe, they're often even cooler than American grocery stores. So what the fuck are they talking about?
I was this close to asking if the writers have actually been to Romania, But we all know the answer.
Of course
Not even Romania. Has the writers ever been to their local farmer's market, at all?
The only thing that Romania is where Dracula lives and some other stuff. I don't know.
Anyway, we've shat on Romanian culture enough. Let's go harass the homeless.
Yay!
Hooray!
So Nick has this really dumb introduction for Jim, and he's like,
That's crazy Jim. He's a bum.
A bum?
I feel like in that moment, Jim should have just knocked him right into the dumpster with him.
You want crazy? I'll show you crazy.
It's just like this homeless guy who seems to clearly need help, and just like the fucking kid's just like, oh, that's crazy Jim. He's a bum. Why are you helping him? It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Calls him a bum because of course he does.
And then they do the fucking, actually, I prefer to be homelessly shallow. It's like, ugh.
It's like, kill me.
At least he doesn't have time for ableist language.
True.
Although Michael doesn't know what the word crazy means, which is just... Crazy exists in Europe. I'm sure it does.
And I wouldn't exactly call this guy crazy. Like, eccentric, yes. Silly, yes. But not crazy.
In dire need of food and shelter, maybe.
Like, it's so funny. Christians will be all, oh, we're doing so much to help the homeless, and then do anything but actually help them. You gotta love it.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to a scene where Illy drags in the mail lady and says she needs to meet the people that she's been delivering to. I'd be like, what?
Yeah, so they treat Romanian people like shit. They treat the homeless like shit. And now they treat mail carriers like shit. Because this mail carrier, talks about how she doesn't have any plans or any family for Thanksgiving. And they don't fucking invite her at all.
No, the kid tries to, and I must say the kid is base.
Yeah, so somehow the father and kid are more generous and charitable than the fucking Christians that this show is focused around.
Really makes you think.
Wow, it's just like real life.
Although I will say that when the mail lady was talking about how she and her roommate are probably going to have plans, I'm like, oh yeah, they were roommates, all right?
Yeah.
And they were roommates.
Right, and the grandma responds like, yeah. Like fucking judgy fucking reaction to like, oh yeah, I planned on spending it with my roommate.
Honestly, I forgot the grandma was even in this.
She barely exists.
I like McGee.
Yeah.
Also, when the mom is like,
well, Thanksgiving is really more than just a big meal, Ely. It's a celebration of the time our forefathers gave thanks for all God had given them. It's a time of sharing our good fortune with others.
I was like, yes, let's go into the history of how indigenous people were treated like absolute shit in this country.
Uh-huh.
But of course, we're not going to do that because it's a Christian special. Nyeh. But
oh, gee, whose fault was that? I wonder who tortured them.
Oh, man.
On a less dark note, I did notice that the mail carrier lady, when she got into the house, she sounded like she had a California accent. And at the end of the scene, and for the rest of the special, she sounded like she suddenly had a thick Southern accent.
Yeah, this show is supposed to take place in Eastfield, Indiana, but it's filmed in Hollywood, and they often just don't really show that. Like, there's no snow around this time in Indiana.
It's very weird.
It is.
Also, just, there was the whole thing with Romanian characters, like especially the kid. He seems to constantly like kind of slip out of the accent.
There's a joke where McGee says that he thinks they're spies, and he's like, I'm gonna detect them with my spy detector.
And Nick thinks they're aliens.
Wacky racism.
And also, they play this horrible soft rock song around, like, I forgot what it was like over this dialogue. It was horrible.
Yeah, they do that after. So there's the whole thing where, like, he's just like laying in bed, like talking shit about the kid to his friend on the phone, just throwing the pencil, and the kid is standing right outside the door, just stares at the camera, crying, and it's so unintentionally
Because
funny.
we have to have that
I
trope.
feel so bad that I laughed at that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Quite frankly.
Let's just end the special there. Nick can learn his lesson the hard way.
Hell yeah.
That'd be high art.
Hell yeah.
Just fucking gut punch ending to this series.
He's just
Yeah.
too much of a dweeb-o-matic to be in the same country with.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Nick goes to look for him and he's like, oh, I feel so bad for how I treated Michael and Illy. And the song that plays over the searching just sounds like shit, man.
God.
Diet Bryan Adams.
Oh, the song I got. Oh my god. No, it literally felt like a parody of Bryan Adams.
Yeah.
This felt like something that you would hear in, like, Moody's Point or something.
Oh, man.
The thing is that the synth in the beginning sounded suspicious amount of like KK Lament from Animal Crossing.
Oh my god, yes.
So I'm just like, is this just Bryan Adams trying to be KK Slider?
So, REO Speedwagon absolutely turned this song down, because this sounds like a fucking outtake that they would have done.
Definitely.
The one I got literally sounded like the fucking learning to read.
Made me cool. Stay
So
in
stay in school.
Also, when McGee is all, now you know how the turkey felt on Thanksgiving, I'm like, McGee, did you watch Freebirds?
But fuck you.
Freebirds is a much better movie than
Agreed.
this.
Somehow.
Did this ever get a Chuck E. Cheese sponsorship? I think not.
We're gonna go back in time and stop them from making McGee and Me.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's right. We're gonna go back in time and stop them from making McGee and Me. Anyway.
Also, there's a James Bond parody, because why not?
It was basically just the Good Feathers segments from Animaniacs.
It goes nowhere. Just stop.
It was just an excuse to show off the animation, nothing more.
It just cuts off, like, when, like, he crashes into, like, the French stereotype trying to eat pizza for some reason, and then that's just where it ends.
They're French, they're Italian. See, Europe is just a monoculture, right?
So I'm all for making fun of Europeans when we deserve it, but fucking, this is a toilet calling the fucking refrigerator white, you know what I mean?
I swear to God, I thought that McGee's villain in his cartoons was also named Conniver Von Villain for a moment,
God
because I
damn it.
misheard. I'm sure that he also qualifies as a Tumblr sexy man if we ever saw his face.
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention too, the pencil case that Illy made was out of the Carpathia ship. So insult to fucking injury right here.
Like, what?
Oh, the pathos.
What the hell?
But
Jesus.
anyway, yeah, the mom is talking to Nicholas and she goes,
Sometimes life starts moving so fast, we forget to love other people.
fuck you.
Oh, fuck you.
Oh,
That's not a
What
thing.
the hell?
that is self-report. Mask off.
Anyway, sorry I called you a slur. My life was moving way too fast.
Sorry, I didn't mean to shoot you in the foot. I was moving so fast and I was playing with my gun, and you know what happens.
The Morgan Wallen School of Apology.
Look, it was a heated gamer moment.
It was a heated gamer moment. Do.
You see, all of these YouTube apologies have to start off with, sometimes life starts moving so fast, and then you explain what you did wrong in air quotes.
Uh,
Oh, don't forget, you gotta frame it like, you know, with the sad face staring at your super bright ring light camera. Call it something like my statement.
uh-huh.
Sometimes life starts moving so fast, you end up buying deepfake AI porn of Twitch streamers that you work with.
Oh, God.
Also, they had a quote earlier in the special where it's like, love your neighbors like you love yourself. And I'm like, oh, that explains why so many politicians treat people like shit. They hate themselves.
Yeah!
As they should.
I
Look at it.
knew it.
And so then it cuts to this Thanksgiving scene, and the dad only wants to watch football. It's funny.
This is the XFL!
There's a whole fucking dog show. Come on, dude.
Also, Nick starts praying, and then he's like, oh, Illy, I'm so sorry I treated you like shit. And then somehow this summons Michael and Illy. They broke into the house.
Yeah, like just immediately after, and the way he worded it was like, it seemed like he said that he asked God to make them forgive him.
And I love how Michael the dad is like, well, we went on a back alley mission to help people out this Thanksgiving, and I just gotta say it, something about the phrase back alley mission makes me very uncomfortable.
I don't
That
like
doesn't
that.
sound like a legitimate mission.
I buy crack for my wife.
And Also, I would have loved if it was revealed that they actually didn't forgive them at all. They were just there for the free food, and then after that whole thing ended, they were like, oh yeah, fuck you, we actually hate you now.
Yeah, so it turns out that Michael and Illy invited a bunch of people over for Thanksgiving, and I would have loved it if it just ended with the fact that Michael and Illy and all these people just fucking ransack the family.
I wanted to mention one thing as well, is they mentioned Homeless Jim earlier. That's what I'm going to call him, because fuck the other name. But earlier, they also call him James.
Yeah.
I noticed that. Like, is it Jim or James?
Yes.
They're basically the same name, so...
Also, at first I was kind of pissed that there was no payoff to the mail lady's, storyline, but you do see her in the background very briefly.
Yeah, it's like they run into her once earlier in the special when she's like looking for the Romanian family, but then it's like fresh into her, and then it's like, gee golly, I had to get out of here, and then McGee is like masturbating in bushes or something. I don't know what the hell happened.
She might have been there with her roommate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, they were roommates.
Also, it turns into Mother by the end. Like, all these people are just crowding into this tiny house, and I'm just like, this would be a nightmare. Holy shit. And
also, remember how we said the other sister wasn't in this episode? We were wrong!
She comes downstairs visibly ill.
They're obviously trying to cash in a full house with that joke.
They really wanted her to be their Olsen twin this episode.
Yeah, so the sister comes down and sees all the people in the living room for Thanksgiving, and she's like, wow, I really must be hallucinating. Whackity schmack. I'm not gonna fucking finish it. It doesn't deserve it.
And there's a stupid gag where McGee is like,
forget the spy business. I can make a fortune with my McGee Cam blimp.
Oh, God. I have a horrible thought about that, by the way. The way he blows up that balloon in the beginning, and the way there's a close-up of the balloon like popping later, I feel this is someone's fetish.
That or it's the Hindenburg.
Oh, no.
Also, he hovers over the turkey and say it with me, everybody.
Ew, it's a dead bird. There we go.
I was also going to mention, when I first watched this, I was almost wondering, like, wait, are they going to kill off McGee? Because this is the final episode of the series.
Good.
Yeah.
So it's like, are they going to kill off McGee?
So, yes, Michael and Ellie left the family, ransacked their house, left them for dead. That's how the show ends.
Huzzah!
I think it's a very fair ending. Fuck around and find out.
Okay, like, that Palestinian Hamas children's show, Tomorrow's Pioneers?
Oh, God.
No.
How, like, every so often they'd, like, kill off the main character and then introduce a new one.
What the fuck?
It is an incredibly fucked up TV show, but I was gonna say, if they killed off McGee, that'd probably be, like, what they're going for.
There we go. We'll basically make it like every show that should just kill off its main character by the end. Like dinosaurs.
See, dinosaurs just fucking slaps.
Huzzah.
Oh, yeah. Well, the last episode is incredibly depressing.
Oh,
but...
Hell yeah.
Also, I don't know why it was reminding me of this, but it was reminding me of those 80s McDonald's commercials at Christmas time.
It's the same song as earlier.
God.
It's played 3 times.
They really wanted this song to be a hit. It'd probably become one on Christian TikTok today.
Well, I will say, after watching this piece of shit, we deserve a break today.
No, see, this can't be a Christian TikTok song. They're too busy taking songs about religious trauma and turning it into Jesus lyrics.
Huzzah.
Oh.
Also, at the end, they have a logo that's basically just the Gracie Films logo with McGee in a theater crowd, because people clearly want to see this in theaters.
No! I don't want to see this anywhere. Burn the tapes.
Burn the tapes.
Oh, God. You know what? Yeah. I'm gonna say this one sounds like it was worse than the one I watched. And the one I watched, I said, burn this shit. This is just so mean-spirited.
I'll say this, I don't know if it quite beats Gingerbrook Fair yet, just because this one was slightly better made, but it's still pretty bad. So yeah, burn the tapes.
I would say I've kind of already sorted out, like, the vibes of the types of Christian people I get from what we were watching. Gingerbrook Fair is, like, creepy cult. Just straight up creepy cult. Bible Man is those, like, Giga Chad Tradcasts. And McGee and Me is, internet troll. One of those, like, right-wing accounts that just, like, constantly replies to, like, anyone he disagrees with existing on the internet.
McGatorgate.
Oh, man.
McGatorgate.
Yeah. This reminds me of just the worst type of Christian you know. Like, the absolute worst Christians.
Yes.
Yeah.
Burn the tape down.
Yeah.
Fucking dispose of it.
And it sucks because the animators are clearly doing their best.
Yeah.
The actors, they didn't even believe this shit. They sound like they're pretty decent people, and that this got them off to a good career start, too.
Definitely. We don't have to worry about finding a Matthew on this cast.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
I
God.
hope.
Matthew!
For me, I think I'll say probably burn the tapes for the reboot, but for original, I think it's like so bad it's good. The original McGee with the horror movie stuff, like that is like just like ha ha ha, and this is just like My theory of this is that knowing that the actors are not necessarily Christian themselves, they are playing a certain angle that's probably not in the script. So my conspiracy theory is that Romanian Dad, they actually did leave at first. When he heard that, Nick was talking shit about his son. But then they were like, how can we kill them with kindness? They were like, okay, well, invite everyone in fucking town to celebrate Thanksgiving with them. Because, we know that these people hate everyone else. And we're going to force them to love thy neighbor, goddammit.
White guilt.
Oh boy, delicious.
All right, so Giga and Lyra, thank you so much for joining us with this episode.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to plug?
We recently released a remix of our grindcore album.
Yes.
You can find it on streaming. It is called Watered Down Grind for the Streaming Machine. It is a funny story behind that because we tried to upload our grindcore album, which consists of 26 songs. The entire album is 5.5 minutes. Streaming services would not allow it because the songs were too short, and they called them song fragments rather than songs. So instead, we decided to take the entire album, make it one song, and then include a lot of remixes that have absolutely no purpose of being.
Ooh.
But that's what makes them great.
Huzzah.
Hell yeah.
Hooray!
Our music is also available on our Bandcamp at Negative Øhio, which is our band. And, we also just mentioned on streaming and stuff. And we are not very active on social media, but we occasionally, post on Tumblr these days because fuck
Oh,
with
nice.
Yes, correct.
You can find me on Mission Breakout on Discord. I don't really use Twitter a lot anymore, but if you do want to follow me, I'm over on MuppetVision_3D on Twitter for my art account. My private account is Mission Breakout, and I'm also on MuppetVision_3D on Letterboxd because I have a lot of fun writing reviews and finding out which of our topics exists on Letterboxd. Surprisingly, no, Gingerbrook Fair does not exist on it.
Yet.
You can find me on Cosmic Rewind on Twitter and YouTube. I'm not really gonna be on Twitter as much though, because it is just an absolute shit heap of a website.
Indeed.
Correct.
I will try and see what I can do with my YouTube more. Probably just more audio-visual shit posts for now, but we'll see.
Anyway, you can find me on the usual spots. Tyler FG on Twitter. Tyler FG96 on Instagram. You can also find the show on Twitter at channel_KRT. Channel KRT Podcast, all one word, on Instagram. We also have our Discord server and our Facebook group, which you can find in the link tree in our Twitter bio. And if you want to help support us, we have two options. First off, we have Patreon, where we have exclusive minisodes, outtakes, and episodes of this very podcast at its earliest convenience. And we also have Ko-Fi, where we have set exclusive minisodes at $5 a pop. And if you just want to donate money to us, you can just do that if you want to.
Hell yeah.
And of course, thank you so much to our pals Bennett Ballard, Chris Reyna, and Tony Goldmark for pledging to us the $10 level. And an extra special thank you to our executive producers, Mike and Gomer.
Thanks, guys!
All right, so yeah, this was a lot of fun.
It was.
Yeah, I had a lot of
Nice
fun.
to be here.
Even if I watched the wrong episode.
And now let's have a Thanksgiving feast in April, because why the fuck not?
From Norway to America, I would like to say Merry Christmas to you and your wife.
Oh fuck, I got the wrong holiday. Shit. I'm in my Halloween costume.
Me looking at Mickey. If I ever see that damn thing in my living room, I want to stomp on it until it's a little brown stain.
Yay!
Yep, that's fair to say.
Huzzah.
Alright, Channel KRT and me. Make it stop.
Huzzah!
It's from my pen pal, Anya.
Dear Lisa, as I write this, I am very sad. Our president has been overthrown and
replaced by the benevolent General Krull. All hail Krull and his glorious new regime. Sincerely, little girl.